15 weeks ago, I started my project for my master's thesis, and one meeting later, it looks like we're changing the plan entirely. If there's something that I've reiterated multiple times, it's that it's really easy to make things, but it's really hard to make the right thing, which is kind of how most startups fail, because they don't spend enough time focusing on what is the right thing to make and just focus on making stuff. And making stuff that more often than not has no market need. And so I've been told early on how important it is to be able to pivot because it gets you out of that trough of despair. So when you first start a new entrepreneurial thing, it might not even be an entrepreneurial thing, but in this case, when you start a new entrepreneurial thing, you get super duper excited, and then you realize how much work it's gonna be, and you just end up in this place for a while, which is where most startups fail. But the ones that make it out of it, they find product market fit. And that's when they start growing again and they're happy again, essentially. I'm oversimplifying it, of course. There's a lot more to it than that. But here's how my journey kind of compares to that right now. So I've accepted my project. I got super excited for it. I started doing some interviews and I just realized how much work it was gonna be. Not exactly unhappy, but still I haven't really found the right people to talk to make my project a success yet. And about a week or two ago, I started talking to what I felt like were the right people. And so I got really excited because I can start prototyping, I can start doing more technically involved things now that I know that I have validated for this need. And that felt really exciting. It felt really exciting because I felt like I was doing the right thing. I felt like that I was being true to the process. I didn't try to make it more technically complicated than it needed to be, just so I can get the right feedback from the right people. So I can learn, and eventually I can get enough information to start prototyping with real electronic components, potentially, and mechanical parts, and show this thing physically to the people that I was talking to on the phone, so I can get even better feedback. And I guess this week, I had a very interesting phone call with my project sponsor, which are the people that accepted me to work on this project all those weeks ago. And they pretty much said, hey, David, so we're thinking of taking this we're planning on just going into a completely different industry. What do you think about that? And I guess I wasn't very good at masking my discomfort because I guess for the first time in 15 weeks, I didn't really know what to say. They didn't explicitly say that the project that I worked so hard on for the last 15 weeks is dead. They just kind of said that it's gonna exist somewhere. And I just, I believe them. I wanna believe that someone else in the future is gonna take where my project left off and do something with it, but it just kind of feels like it's hard not to get attached, especially since I was so close to ordering parts on Amazon. It's hard not to be disappointed because the work that I've done over the past 15 weeks might not have a future. At least not a future that I can be a part of. So I slept on it. I scheduled a meeting with my Capstone sponsor, and one craft root beer later, he recommended that I do a design sprint. And if those words sound familiar, it's because that's exactly what we did to make the big functional box right over here. Except I didn't make that for a real thing, I just made it for a class thing. It was kind of an academic exercise. And the thing I found really interesting is that the first day of class, I flipped my notes on the first day of class, and I saw that trough of despair, and I also saw the words that I wrote next to it. Sprints are your path to freedom. I'm trying to stay positive. And more importantly, I'm trying to hold on to the feeling that I had, the feeling of satisfaction I had when we went and presented the big functional box. Because that felt very satisfying because of so many things. Not just because we made something physical, but because we we stayed true to the process in order to do that. It wasn't what we thought was the right answer, it was what the customer thought was the right answer. And so I know that a lot of you probably aren't in the position where you have some sort of boss figure and you've been working on this project for 3 months and boss calls you up and like, hey, the thing you're working on for 3 months, like we're not working on it anymore, let's move on. I know that you're probably not in that position, but you're probably in a position where you're working on a class project and it's a multi-month thing or a personal project that you're working on that you, for one reason or the other, just haven't touched in forever, but still really want to work on it because you don't want all your hard work to have been for nothing. And I understand that. It's a hard thing to let go of months of progress because, you've made it this far, why not just a little bit more? But where does it end? And is that good for you and the project in the long run? Those are questions that only you can answer, of course. I really understand how hard it is to give up working on that thing that you love. And sometimes out of love, that's just what you gotta do. It's hard, it's difficult. I'm not there yet, but freedom is one sprint away. My name is David the Futurist, and I'll see you guys in the future.